It is.
The stream is live.
Is it?
It is indeed.
Oh, there we go. Good evening, everybody. How you doing?
No,
Oh, no,
wait,
we're not.
wait, we're counting down.
Oh, we're counting down.
Get ready for the countdown, everyone.
Where is the countdown?
That's pretty
10, 9.
I have no idea what's going on here.
Well, if we're there's 13 people in. If we're live, give us a thumbs up in the talk box.
Something's gone drastically wrong.
Something's gone drastically wrong. Oh, there you go. Can you hear us?
Yeah, well, here's hoping. I think we're live.
Yep.
We are. Gizmo's saying hi, yeah. Well, good evening. It's me, Paddy Jud, and it's the crowd from across the Shuck. It's Ben and Donny from Jack Wolf Knives.
And I'm back.
And Justin is back from his holidays in Switzerland, in the land of his favourite, well, one of his favourite knife patterns, the Swiss Army knife. So he had a ball in Switzerland. We'll talk about that when we get around to it. So, Ben, I want to just get straight into it. This new knife that has been put together by you two and talked and swooned over, this is an absolute winner. Tell us a bit about it and why you chose to make it smaller, and how did you make it so much better when it's just a simple, a smaller version? The other knife was great, but this is unbelievable.
Well, I'm glad you like it, Stephen.
Oh,
and
really?
I can honestly say I'm really, really pleased with this entire batch of knives. The quality, the fit and finish, our selections for the materials, all of it. And as you know, the Cyborg was a design that I more or less created from scratch. Obviously, there's, maybe the influence of a Trapper or Sow Belly vaguely here, but it just started with drawing a blade and then sort of letting my creativity flow to come up with a futuristic looking handle. And I had sized the original at 4 inches. And we had in the collection a big bro and a little bro. And I thought, if there's an opportunity to do something like that again, we can have a Cyborg and a little Cyborg. But I changed the name to Mini Cyborg. And then once you have the idea, you see how the artwork can play out with the little bro kind of in Cyborg form. And, given the fact that this handle kind of curves in and kind of tails out a little bit here, like it really agrees with your hand.
Yeah.
So converting this pattern to a little bro size knife seemed like a good idea.
It's a noise. Listen to that. It's getting me every time. I've done nothing but do that all week. Just can't stop flicking it.
Use my podcaster knife or microphone.
Come on, you join in. Let's get the full symphony.
We can make a song. Maybe make a song.
Yeah.
3, 4.
You need a holiday, Donny.
You know what? I think no one's mentioned this yet, which is really like the plain TI version is the only one that has flutes.
Oh, very cool.
I think that slid under the radar a little bit. It's hard to. There we go.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah, and we got a prototype of this that did not have these flutes. It was just, full slab tie without the flutes, and Donnie was partial to that one. But I just thought that the angled lines here really added to the angular aesthetic of the knife. So I had them produce an extra set of scales with the flutes just so I could see what they look like. And I was like, I'm making the executive decision on this one.
Well, it looks natural.
Yeah. And it breaks it up a little bit.
Yeah, I like that.
And I just feel like this one came out real class. Like we've got
it is. That's the gem.
Touch of color, not too much. It's nice. Yeah, I think the number one objection people may have without actually handling these is that they're going to be too small. I'm here to tell you guys, unless you've got just a gigantic hand or you have such a strong preference for longer knives, this is not going to feel too small for you to do work, have an EDC, and handle it. There's no compromise operating it. Sometimes when things are small, they're kind of a hassle to use. Not the case. I would say anything smaller than this you're compromising a little bit for more compactness. I would say this is on the small size of what I would consider a regular knife.
I would go even opposite, being just talking as a traditionalist. This is the sort of knife that a lot of traditionals this size is just perfect. I know, give it a couple of tenths either way, is that sort of range that most traditionals are going to be in that are bought and used.
Yeah, well, I agree. It's the modern knife guys who are accustomed to 4-inch handle being the small size. You know, a small Sabenza has a 4-inch handle. Well, this is 3.6. You know, but what I want people to understand, and you were saying it earlier, like this is not too small. This is ideal for a pocket knife.
Yeah,
it really is.
You know?
I think sometimes we try to make them into more modern knives. You sort of said everybody's trying to equate this with a modern knife, and it's never. That's why it's called a modern traditional and not just a modern knife.
Please, sorry, Ben, but EDC wants a comparison with the little bro. So if you would please.
There we go. They're exactly the same size.
Hold it up a wee bit more.
Oh, there we go. Let me just.
And I would say on the strength, like the Mini Cyborg has a slightly stronger spring than the little bro, but it's not night and day. Like maybe 1 to 1.5 numbers up on the scale.
I mean, the little bro. I mean, remember that this is a few months. I've seen a few months use 6 months use probably.
Yeah.
So it probably has loosened up a wee bit, but it's still very tight. That's a wee bit stronger, but not much. I mean, we're talking a hair.
I don't think anybody would say that the springs are too strong on these. I think, you know, arguably they're damn near perfect. You never hear me use the word perfect, but boy, these are close. I actually had one of my neighbors who I met. I would guess he's in his mid 60s, and he hasn't handled a slip joint knife since he was a kid. And he showed interest in what I was doing, invited me over and said, hey, come by after work, bring some of those Mini Cyborgs. And so I brought, you know, one of each, and I sat down at his kitchen table with him and his wife, and they were asking me all about everything. I brought one of every knife from the catalog to show him. It was cool.
Yeah.
And he bought a dark matter orange, and he was able to open and close it. You know, I showed him a couple of tricks of the trade, and it was kind of nice seeing a newbie be able to handle this knife effectively.
Yeah, and that's a must. If you're bringing in a new brand, you want newbies to be able to handle it because it is different to the market. But the thing that I really liked about this, you're talking about wee tips and tricks. This little swedge at the top here, or am I? Oh, there you can see. This little swedge at the top here, and right on the top. The first thing I thought when I looked at it is, oh my God, you're not going to be able to pinch it because that swedge is going to make you slip. Couldn't be further from the truth. Makes no difference whatsoever. None. But yet, aesthetically, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of thing you got to be careful with when you size down. Is everything shrinks other than the hardware. And so you do lose space. You do lose like negative space in between edges. And that pinch is exactly what you're talking about. But because the way this knife is laid out, it's just right.
Oh, thank God for that, because for a moment there, when you said when you size down, I thought you were talking about me for a second as opposed to the knife. You know? And the comments about the hardware were not appreciated in that context, believe me.
Hey, the hardware is the same size.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes it look bigger. Which makes it look bigger with your opinion.
My wife has said that all along.
No, stop it.
And really, the truth about the size is I was kind of I come from a little bit more of a modern take on pocket knives, right? So when you hear mini, I'm like, oh, I got an XL hand. You know, I have a decent sized hand, but like when like Ben said, these things live. Let's be honest, as knife guys, our knives are in our pocket 99% of the time, 90 unless we're fidgeting with it or using it is even not going to take up most of the time. So they're mostly in our pocket. So you want it to be to live there and feel good, not be this giant thing. So
sometimes coming near the end of the day, I have to take mine out and cut something just to make it purposeful.
There you go.
Right.
There's a great name for another knife, a wee Jud.
No, I think Joe's going to have the rights on that one, but
The wee Jud Jack.
a wee Jud, yeah,
Hey.
right, it works. Ben, get on top of that. Get on that.
Judge, just submit your design and we'll go from there.
You don't want that. You've seen that episode of The Simpsons where Homer designs a car? That's what we'd end up with.
Go ahead.
What's the initial reaction been? Have you been able to get on board with what people have been saying in the community?
Yeah, I think from what we can tell, people are into it. We've had a lot of good engagement on our social media posts. Guys in the Facebook group are excited. I think people are really pleased to see the variation in choices. And I could tell you probably more than ever before, people have said, I cannot decide which one I want. Like people are really agonizing over which one to get, which is like me and Donnie are like, yes.
But that is good. I mean, that is so exciting when you don't know. Do you know how, if you took away that excitement of people of not knowing what the public are going to want, every month that you put a knife out, you have that wait to see which ones go, which ones don't go. That excitement is all part of the build-up of being a knife designer and being somebody who's getting a product out to the community, and they just want to know, but you never will know.
Well, you know, one man's excitement is another man's anxiety. I mean, let's be
I was going to say anxiety might be a better descriptor than excitement, but it's all part of it because it's an emotional purchase. It's an emotionally driven project. Like we have passion for this. That's an emotional drive, right? Like the amount of time we spend doing this, like there's more money to be made in other pursuits with this level of dedication, you know, but it's not about, obviously you want to make money. I'm not saying that's not important, but it's also important that we are doing something we're passionate about. So there's always excitement tied in with the agony and the anxiety of like not knowing or taking these risks. Like I was chatting with a friend of mine yesterday, Tom, notorious EDC, and like I was showing him this pink knife and he said, "You're really not afraid to try something different." And I was like, no, that was a compliment, you know, to me, because we're not afraid. We're willing to push the envelope, but it's risky to do that.
But I think that's the sort of thing for me that is going to appeal. Now, I know all women don't like pink, and all men are, you know, definitely not just brown bone. But that is the knife that, to me, would encourage younger women to have in their handbag. If you already carry a knife and you see that has got to make you think, my life looks, you know, my knife is crap. I need that.
But I was saying, for the guys in the chat, I was saying to Ben just before we came on that I honestly think that the pink one is going to be the mind blow. It blew my mind. Now, I would never carry or buy a pink or own even a pink knife. I just wouldn't, because I couldn't carry it off.
No, small and pink doesn't go.
And I really couldn't get away with it. But I don't have the balls for it apart from anything else. Honestly, in terms of just the mind-blowing impression or impact that knife has, hold that up again, Ben. I just think there's nothing like it. I mean, come on, look at that. I mean, I'm going to put Donnie's up as well because Donnie's obviously kept the best one from Ben. He's kept it for himself. Oh, look at that. That's a slightly different one. That looks like candy. Oh, if TK was here, he'd be licking that all over.
Yeah, they are nice.
It really does look like candy. It looks like some kind of like not like a jawbreaker, but like
it's like a rock from Blackpool Beach.
yeah. It's just stuff is just cool, man. It is just.
But
cool.
it's that mixed with the black, you know, furniture around it and the black blade. It is just amazing looking.
You've got that. I'm pretty, but I will hurt you.
Yes, it's the deadly assassin kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous, Donnie. Look at that. Yeah. So, but yeah. That's the one that really grabbed my attention as when I saw the series. It was just stunning, really.
We use the baseball analogy a lot. You know, there's bunting or a base hit, but you really got to swing to get a home run. You got to really.
Yeah. And that's definitely putting it out of the ballpark, Donnie. Really, if you want to push the analogy even further.
It is quite strange because it's the sort of direction I've been going this last month in the knives I've been buying. I bought, 3 nice knives. This is a lovely one. This is a nice shaped one too now.
Here, hold on a second.
This is it's a custom from a fella called Shing over here in the UK. I don't know whether you've heard of him, Ben Bing.
No.
He's called
Shing.
Would
you call that a drop point?
Yeah, it is a drop point. I was trying to call it a clip, but I can't really call it a clip. It's more of a drop point to me anyway. It's a custom knife. It can be called whatever you want.
Looks good.
Very nice.
And then I bought myself this, a little Moki.
That's nice. That's Japanese.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. The workmanship, Ben. It's got Aussie steel, but my gosh, it's just a burl handle and all, just beautiful. But this last month, that's all I've sort of got is smaller knives, a little GEC number 83, because it's the knives I'm carrying more and more now. The bigger knives I like, and they'll be in my collection, but I'm actually using smaller knives more and more.
Okay, I'm going to stop the presses here, guys, because we have groundbreaking news. Gadget Gus is back.
Oh,
Gadget Gus is back.
Oh, nice to see you back, buddy.
Round of applause. In fact, I may even stand up. What am I talking about? I am standing up. Gus, good to see you back, my man.
Really, I hope you're feeling well. And we all missed you. There was a lot of support came out in the recent podcast for you.
Yeah, no, so most of it was fake though. But it seemed like the appropriate thing to do. Because
it's great to see you back now. Just really to start making videos again.
Yes, definitely.
Great.
Okay, we had a question from. Oh, who was it? It was Sean. Yes, Sean was asking, what are our favorite Jack Wolves? So it's the perennial question to put ourselves on the spot. So I'm going to, without hesitation, say that my favorite Jack Wolf knife is still the Vampire Jack. It is still my favorite knife. I love the Vampire Jack. However, I have to say that the Little Bro and the Mini Cyborg are very close seconds. Maybe after the Midnight Jack, because I do love the Midnight Jack. Well, you see what I mean? I'm asked for a favorite knife, and then a heartbeat I've given for. Yeah. So, Donnie, what's your favorite?
Oh, me. See, that's a hard thing too, right? Because I think I always go. Yeah, picking favorites is tough, but I think I always go with I'll say more sentimental. I feel like the first one I ever bought was the Midnight, so that's kind of a sentimental knife. The first one that we were doing when I first started working for Ben was the Venom Jack, so that's sentimental. That's a sentimental model. The first carbon fiber one I ever bought was the original Cyborg.
Yeah, that's a lovely one.
That was the first carbon one I ever picked up.
That's a lovely car. Is that yellow or orange? Yellow. Is that the limoncello?
Yeah, that's the I guess it's
toxic.
Toxic, yeah.
Right.
The limoncello was the only up on the
Vega Jack.
You guys?
Yeah. Good.
Nice. Ben, what about yourself? Oh,
my least favorite question. I don't have a favorite. They're like my kids. Honestly, I would say
you don't have favorite kids. What's wrong with you?
It depends on how they're acted. You know what I mean?
you know that this is recorded. This is on here for.
I'll tell them they can know. I get these emails from my son's school. I get in trouble for this again, get in trouble for that. It's like, well, you're not my favorite today. You're raising my pulse.
Yeah.
But then my son will sit down and he wanted to watch a movie. Tie it back to England. We watched the movie Snatch, which I just love that movie.
Guy Ritchie,
so good. And so, I'm sitting with him on the chair together. We're watching Snatch, and it's like, I think you're my favorite right now. I couldn't get your sister to watch this with me. So I don't know. Yeah. They're all flawed. They're all imperfect, but I love them all. So I don't know. I kind of like whatever we're working on. I feel like an emotional connection to what.
What are you working on at the moment,
Good
Ben?
question.
Mini Cyborg deck. Drop it. These are in our conscience right now, and these are sweet. It's going to be hard to get it to show through, but like this is the first time we're doing a blast and tumbled finish. This is the first time we have blast hardware. This is a brand new carbon fiber we've never used before from a company called ProTech Composites out of the state of Washington. It's actually a white marble, so it's different from all the fat carbon and camo carbon stuff.
Yeah. It's very dramatic. It's it's good bold colors. There isn't that sort of.
And again, it works well with that stonewash on the blade.
Like if this doesn't look like it came from the future, through a time machine getting battered around, Yeah.
I have to say, one of the best things you ever changed to was a hand satin. I adore the hand satin. I mean, the last 3 knives I bought, other than Jack Wool, were hand satin because I just can't get enough of it. And like hand satin done by a custom maker is usually the better by far because he has time to sit and do it all perfect. But these, whoever the company is that doing them, should take a big clap of the hands because it is just stunning.
They're doing these by hand, man.
Honestly, it's fantastic work.
It's the only way. And it costs more to produce these. I have to pay to upgrade these, and I don't charge more for it. So, like, if anybody always, is so focused on what things cost, like, you do get more for your money when you pick a hand satin version. And they're beautiful. You can just kind of stare at it. And then another benefit, I saw Duty's Daggers mention this yesterday. They sure wipe clean easier.
Absolutely.
Smooth.
I'm afraid we've had a lot of votes of confidence for the pink and black, but I think Ilan's comment is probably the best one. But it may alter your perception of the pink one forever.
The Barbie Cyborg.
I mean,
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
What you got to do is send one of those to Ryan Gosling and Margot, what's her name? And I mean, that's you marketing through the roof.
You know how many knives we'd sell if like Margot Robbie one of these?
Sonny, we're going to have to get your wife to dress up for next week.
The late show is coming next month, right?
We're in Atlanta in 2-3 weeks. So.
Oh, wow. Are you going to do a knife release that month?
Yeah, we'll have a release. Yeah.
Because you were talking, and I think we should get back to it really. All of you there work so hard, but you, Ben, for the last 3 years, your life has been, well, maybe a bit longer than 3 years from when you started, the initial thought process and getting to where you are now. With COVID, it was probably longer than 3 years. And my God, you must have needed a break.
I don't know. I feel good, man.
But you had a break.
I'll tell you what. Before Donnie came on, I was really burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
Because all the stuff that takes just the hours to do, like the inspections and driving around, dropping off boxes and packaging and fulfillment, like all that stuff. It adds up. And when you're trying to do, like, there's no divide and conquer when you're by yourself. So I'd say my life has felt a lot more balanced now for the past year since Donnie moved to Phoenix in July and started full time.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got a break. I feel like I'm living a more normal. I mean, I still work harder than probably most people, honestly, but it feels a lot more balanced than it ever did.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you can't take your nature away from something, and you're just a grafter by trade, if you like.
Yeah, if I didn't have this to work on, I'd just be driving everybody crazy, So,
you're still driving everybody crazy, Ben, because you won't tell us anything about the next knife.
Well, that's the real pleasure I get out of this.
These
guys squirm.
There's your favorite child syndrome coming back.
I
feel like it was just Ben's outlet to be a liar.
What are you talking about, Simmons? You're just his sidekick. You do the same thing too. We couldn't
exactly right.
Right.
Oh, did I say Ben? I meant our outlet.
No, that's it. That's more like it.
Yeah.
No, it is nice. So I know you're not going to give a whole lot away, but you can see other knives becoming minis in the future, I hope.
Yeah, this is actually an experiment for us here because I don't know. I'm curious how the market's going to respond to this. If it's something that people really want and it's set, like there's what people say and then there's what people buy, right? And they don't always line up. So if these things sell well and their people are happy with them and stuff, I would 100% consider doing small versions of some of the other big ones. Because frankly, it's easier for us than designing something out of thin air, you know?
Yeah.
They don't all convert. They don't all convert. So we'll have to shrink them and prototype them. But I know there's some off the top of my head that I know would probably work well in theory.
But I mean, and I'm talking about that. Wouldn't it be nice for you to design, if one doesn't just shrink down perfectly like the Cyborg has done, it would give you creative experience to try and add just a wee bit something different to it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. If it might have to change blade shape. We might have to alter the handle a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a pure scale down.
No.
But, you know, if I sat down and tried to draw a serpentine jack or something where you have to get those contours like just right or else it just looks weird. Like that's a lot harder than say taking, I don't know, name a big knife, a Benny's clip and shrinking it down and saying like, okay, well, if we just adjust the clip here a little bit or we just make the handle a little narrower through here, like that's easier.
Yeah. No, I think your creative juices would be able to cope with, you know, a knife that doesn't come down naturally. I think you'd enjoy fixing that problem.
Yeah, 100%. I would have no qualms with it. I just want to see if the market likes these, you know.
I'll tell you what, you know, often and during these podcasts, I hear you saying that, you know, a lot of the customers are new customers that are coming from larger knives, like folding knives, to now to traditional. And I think this knife is the perfect thing to bring more traditionals into the company. Yeah. Because this is the size most of us use as a traditional knife user. I honestly think this I just think that's one thing that will maybe bring more of the traditional boys over to the modern traditional, whereas you've got the new people coming in one side. I think this is a big jump forward because I can say without fail, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. And that's my second favorite now. This has always been in the top 5, but this is my favorite without a shadow of a doubt because it looks like the knives I use every day, except classier.
And it has a lot of presence for being the size that it is. You know, like the Little Bro is very classic. It's the ultimate classic pocket knife. This has what do I want to say here? It has not louder. That's not what I'm trying to say, but there's just more to what am I trying to say, Donnie?
There's more to the design. It is more, people want to know, hey, let me have a look at that because it doesn't look like a normal, what people consider a normal shape.
Right. I agree. It's an atypical pocket knife.
Exactly.
And when you have it in this size, it almost looks even more impressive because it's like, man, look at all those angles and lines and
knife. Yeah.
You know,
the detail is more in your face.
Yeah, and it's like
right there, and it's in your hand. You feel it.
Yeah, it's like a big thing that comes in a small package when you look at it. Where when you look at the Little Bro, it's like I expect that knife to look like that in this size. When you look at this, it's like, man, there's a lot going on there for something that size. That's the impression.
I think you've really hit on a pattern. I think these obtuse angles and different, like instead of just having a knife that bends down, you've actually got it stepped down. And the stepping, I mean, people won't realize just how good that stepping is. It is absolutely straight. It's pointed. And every one that I've seen has been that, you know, look at that. It's like a jeweled back spring.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's faceted. It's faceted.
It is.
And like these bevels, like there's a bevel here and there's a bevel here. You know, but then there's a angle here and here. Like these are really cool to look at and examine.
Exactly. You get one and it's like a new book that you haven't read. You're just getting into it.
Okay, we're waxing a wee bit too. I mean, the quantity of BS now coming out of your mouths, guys. I'm going to have to call it.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, you don't come across this every day.
I know, but they are beautiful. But we've got an interesting question from Byron for you, Ben. Would you ever think about going the other way and going for a slightly bigger knife?
You know, I would not say no, because we need new frontiers anyway. And we do get this request. It's not an unusual request at this point. I like the bigger form factor for the locking knives. I think it makes more sense just for the mode of operating them. And I think at some point you hit a diminishing return for a pocket knife going in the bottom of your pocket being too big. It's like, man, this thing is like unnecessarily big. Now, I guess the devil's in the details. How big? Are we talking 4.1, 4.15? Are we talking 4.5? Like, what are we talking for a close length, right? Because
I think the gunslinger without the clip and putting that in a slip, I mean, that fits that right there. I mean,
I don't going any bigger than that on a slip joint.
No.
Very niche at that point.
No. Here's another. Just throw another one in the mix. You were talking about a bigger knife, and the subscriber, who was that?
That was Byron.
Byron. The other thing is, because of the quality of these knives that are made in general, I would love a desk knife, you know, for opening mail, that sort of knife. I think that would really go with the brand. Do you?
Yes. Just something as a...
Yeah, you know, a nice desk knife with a sort of...
You're talking like a fixed like a letter opener?
Yeah, a fixed letter opener. And there's so much you could do with that blade to make it different from everybody else's. And the handle, with the way you make your handle, I just think that would be an absolutely spiffing.
That's a super interesting proposition. I've never once had it even crossed my mind. I wish we were having this conversation offline, because then it would be more of a surprise.
All right, nobody watches the podcast. No way.
Like, first of all, I don't remember the last time I've seen a proper letter opener. I had to be like a kid. My dad had one. My grandpa had one. You know, and it's like a butter knife thing, but kind of like a dagger. And you can just use it to split envelopes open or whatever, right? But a high-end letter opener that stays on the desk, that might be cool.
Instead of a leather sheath, a leather patch to put on your desk to set it on.
Right.
You're on fire tonight.
I'm telling you. Nobody gets into my brain.
What do you think the length of the quote-unquote blade on a letter opener is? Like 6 inches long, something like that? Yeah, and like a skinny, slender handle, just kind of big enough to get from maybe here to here.
Exactly. A 3.5 inch handle.
I like things that are, that's the risk reward part of my brain is like, well, no one's doing that. So either no one's doing it because it's a terrible idea, or no one's doing it because it's so novel that people aren't willing to try, you know?
Exactly. You sound just like my wife now. You've lost me.
Oh, dear. Here we go.
Now I'll actually open my junk mail.
First of all, Will Wilson would like to thank you for... there you go.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Will. Always, my friend. It's always nice talking to Will. He's got a really cool collection of bayonets that he's showed me pictures of. And always a pleasure, my friend.
And then we have another suggestion from Elan, which we never take seriously because it's Elan, which is this. Don't do it, Ben, please.
Design it.
A number 58 size Swiss Army knife.
All knives are too big for me, so I may as well go just for the full size one. So it's one of those cases. Shut up, Elan. We're not talking to you anymore.
The other thing is, how many knives do you see coming on the market, or that I see coming on the market, that still get me excited after 2 years of getting a knife nearly every month? How many knives do that? Am I odd? I don't think so.
No, but it's. I mean, we all always talk about knives giving us the fizz, and it's not anything in terms of it's not anything objective or empirical. You can't figure out what gives you that feeling. But for some reason, every time Jack Wolf comes out, there's always a certain frisson of excitement, isn't there?
I've got a certain subscriber, and I'm not going to name him because I can't remember it. But he often sends me these weird little texts. And me and him, I've started having a bit of fun with him, and I'm enjoying it, sadly. But he keeps telling me, he said, "Oh, you're mouthing off too much about these Jack Wolf knives. I've had 3 of them, and there's fitting issues with every single one of them." And I say, right, okay, the first time I talk to him, that's fine. Have you give Ben a ring to say that you've got, fit and finish issues? No, I'm not going to bother doing something like that. I'll just never buy them again. And after a while, I was saying, but you've got 3, and they've all got issues. And I said, I think you're telling little porky pies. And he got really stroppy with me. I said, well, look, give me your name. I'll contact Ben for you, because he wouldn't want you to be, unhappy with any of your products. I'm not giving you my name over this media. It was hilarious.
And look, we're never going to say that our stuff is perfect.
No,
we're not for everybody. They are production knives. They're making hundreds at a time. There's variation from piece to piece. There's skilled labor involved in making these. That means they're going to be imperfect, because no person is perfect. If someone's unhappy, reach out to me and let me know what the issue is. How am I supposed to get better if people don't give me constructive criticism? First of all. Second of all, if there's something I can do, I'll do whatever it is I can do, within reason, even beyond reasonable. I'll do it, because I just want people to be happy. Yeah. At the end of the day, if it's not for you, I understand, call your dealer and return it.
Yeah.
It's, but give me the opportunity to either make it right or at least learn what you didn't like. That's all I would ever ask.
There are some ideas like Paddy Stephen's letter opener, and more recently Jesse's bayonets that I think you don't want to go down those roads. Okay, take my advice on that one, Ben. All right, Jesse, shut up.
We can get a government contract to produce bayonets. That might be cool.
Hey, wasn't that?
300,000 bayonets, please. It's like, okay.
Wouldn't the irony be that they're being made in China? But we're not going down that road.
It would be very. That's why we're not going to get that contract. Yeah, it would have to be for like somewhere in the Middle East or something. It wouldn't be in America.
I just think that now the brand is so well established. I think I think for you, I think the design is going to come back into. I just have this feeling you're going to get pen to paper again, or get on the CAD and start. Is that something you thought about, getting back to doing a fresh design? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, me and Donnie have been very productive this first half of the year, and taking that month off really let me not only get caught up, but get ahead on project planning.
Yeah.
So, and I've been saying this publicly, and this is no real secret, because it's just obvious. We're working on converting a lot of these designs into the locking knife versions. There's just a tremendous demand for that.
Yeah.
And we can do because the design is already substantially complete as a slip joint, we can be pretty efficient with transforming those. Some easier than others.
Are you the type that would make it just a very traditional locking, or would you go for some of the new, like the Demco locks?
I'm not, you got to remember, I'm not an engineer, and, I think we have a form factor that people really like. So, no, you can expect more of what we've been doing, generally speaking. Yeah. I'm not saying I never would, but I'm trying to be productive. And if I get lost in the weeds trying to invent the next triad lock, man, I might wish I hadn't done that,
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying never, but I'm just trying to work with what we got right now. But I guess where I was going with that is, me and Donnie have the rest of the year mapped out for this year. And we've already got a slate of tentative releases for next year. And so I'm starting to think about, believe this or not, I'm already thinking about 2026, which is insane. And so yes, the answer to your question is yes. I want to spend the second half of this year in the design mode in my brain and crank out a bunch of new work.
Yeah.
And I think I can do it because of the efficiencies we've built as a team here. You know, it didn't happen overnight. We had to kind of get everybody up to speed and kind of get our groove. But now I think we're really efficient. I mean, the amount of work we produce with a team of 3 is pretty
phenomenal.
good. You know,
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. The other thing I'm going to ask is, I don't know whether you can give me an answer to, but it's the one that I get asked all the time, is what about natural materials like wood and bone? Have you got any further on your search?
Yeah, so obviously we've done some wood. We're prototyping some things. I don't want to give anything away, but we hear you guys loud and clear. I would say here's what we're hearing the most about. Bring back my Carta, bring back my Carta, bring back my Carta. We're hearing that loud and clear.
Yeah.
We'd love to see some bone, some stag. You know, stag is going to be a challenge with importation. It's not really my thing. Like, if you guys ever peruse my knife collection on my personal,
jumping over my lap.
Not a lot of stag. But nonetheless, yeah, we're interested. But there's other things we're interested in too. Like, we're trying to push the envelope on other materials, other finishes. And if there's anything me and Donnie have been working really hard to do, is break new ground wherever we can, because, you know, it's a tighter market right now. There's an abundance of supply and there's less demand. So in that case, what are you going to do to stay competitive? Well, you better be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a guy in the chat, Hardcore Hobbyist. He doesn't like me very much. He says, if your knives are $80 less, then I'd absolutely buy, but there's simply too much money for a Chinese mass-produced knife. Well, thank you for your opinion. If they were $80 less, then someone would be working for free, and they're not $80 less. They have to be priced where they're priced because of what it costs to produce and distribute them. It's very simple. If you're looking for a knife that's $80 less, I would suggest a different brand. Why do you keep talking like you have first-person experience? Your knives are made in China. I never claimed that I make them. So I don't know where you're getting that from. And yes, they're made in China. We design everything, we source all the material, and we run the business. So that's what we do here.
Here's the other thing, and I'm sorry, it's really, really boring, but where's your phone made that you're using? Where's your TV made that you're using? Where is most of your electrical stuff, components made?
Where's all the stuff you bought your kids for Christmas? Where'd that come from?
It's just phenomenal that people still have that stupid argument. It's there.
Maybe I could break the ground here in America. I tell you what, you give me a $2 million loan and we'll invest in a facility and all the machines and talent needed to do that.
Let's do it.
You want to? I'll give you my address. You can send me the check.
Wouldn't it be brilliant though if he was like a multimillionaire who could actually do that and would do it just for batting it? That would be brilliant. That would be absolutely class.
Is that 2 million not a bit low on the getting all that stuff?
Yeah, if you're going to ask for it proper.
Yeah, I'm making 5 million. Actually, need 5 million.
I think
an operator.
Before we go down too dark a road, there are a couple of there are a couple. I hate the conflict. I'll have to go and make a cup of tea soon. So there's a couple of questions in here that we do have to address. First of all, was Eugene was asking if the Humpback Jack was on the docket.
The Humpback Jack is being redesigned because we had a spring that was entirely too soft, and so we had a flaw in the design that couldn't be worked out without an overhaul. So it's in the process. It's going to be a while before you see that one.
But it would have been one of the bigger knives, Ben.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was about 4 inches. It's a good size, 3.8 to 4.
So
I personally want it back too. I love a good spear.
The other one was some sarcastic wee beggar. I mean, you see, there's lots of them. Was wanting to know if you're ever going to do one with scissors and scale tools. Don't. I don't know
the first thing about designing proper shears. They're not just two blades that go past each other like this.
No, but it does bring us back to a query we've often had before: multi-bladed jackknife. Because you've said that it's always that it is an interesting topic.
It is. It's not top of my list, to be honest with you. It's like designing a new mechanism. Like, I got to figure out how to lay two blades in there. Here. Let me pose this to the group. Everybody likes something that you can pinch open, right? But you're never going to get both blades pinchable. It just doesn't work that way. Like one has to sit taller than the other so you can get to the nail nick on one. Always. You know, think of a 2-blade knife, you can pinch the other blade open. So how many people are going to balk at the fact that you can't pinch the secondary blade open?
You see, I think just putting a nail nick in, that suffice. If they could pinch one of them, the main blade, that would be perfect. Because that's the one you're going to use most probably.
100%. Now, in the minute you design a 2-blade knife and you lay the second blade in there with an accessible nail nick, you've taken away some of the pinchability of the main. You know, like it's tough from a design standpoint to maintain that pinchability. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's definitely a challenge. So it's going to cost more. You're going to reduce the pinchability. You're not going to be able to pinch the secondary. I worry about selling them, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I can understand. It's a completely different departure from what your intent has always been to make, you know. And what size do you make it? There's the other thing. What size do you make a 2-bladed knife?
It's tough. And I bet you I would love to get some feedback from like guys that sell slip joint knives is how do your single blades sell relative to your double blades, you know?
I don't think that's in question. I would say single blades now. If you'd asked me that 20 years ago, it probably would have been multi-blades like the Stockmans and things like that. But I don't think nowadays people are doing it because the blade steel is so much better now than what it was then.
Exactly. Like a multi-blade knife was nice. You could go twice as long without sharpening.
Yeah. Whereas now you can keep your Jack Wolf going for weeks.
Yeah.
Months in some cases.
It'll lose that initial keen edge like any knife will, but once that happens, that thing's still sharp for a long time.
And it does strop. It genuinely does strop. I use a 3-micron strop. That's all. Well, I've got a 1-micron as well, but I never really take it down on a working knife. The 3 micron strop, the what do you call it? Not 3 micron. What do you call it?
Oh, the diamond.
Emulsion.
The emulsion.
And it is absolutely amazing for bringing the Jack Wolf back to that keen sharpness again. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, you know what? We don't essentially get any complaints about.
No.
I don't think we get complaints sometimes like this factory edge was not what I expected it to be. Like that happens sometimes. They're sharpening hundreds of these things. It happens. But as far as like performance of the edge, when it's properly sharpened, nothing. Like people love the cutting performance of these things. If anybody here, by the way, we'll throw this out there. I made an arrangement. I have not done anything to promote this yet, so this is a good time to talk about it. There's a dude in the UK, Jim Thomas. He's active in the groups. He's a sharpener. And so I set up a deal with him in the UK so that if UK customers need sharpening, I have a trusted partner in the UK now for sharpening. If you get a blade wrap and it needs to be fixed, just reach out, you know. And if you just need routine sharpening service, I have a trusted UK partner now.
That's fantastic. Really great. That's and really great.
He's got a guided system and it's all super precise stuff, you know.
That's really good. I must take his name down because I must just send him one to see, you know, just so as I can actually have a knife sharpened by him and let people see what they're going to get. That would be worth me doing that just for.
Yeah, I think so, Stephen. I mean, if you're willing to put a little effort into it and do some coordinating with him, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. What's his name again?
Jim Thomas. He's on Facebook, I know. And,
under that name?
Yeah.
Jim Thomas. Right. I will contact him tomorrow and I'll organize to send him a knife and let him sharpen it for me.
Great.
It'd be nice to see. Although, what edge can you take S90V down to?
Well, you mean as far as the grit? It just depends on what you want to use it for. I like toothier edges. A lot of guys like a mirror polish. It's not doesn't have as much utility, a mirror polished edge, as something that has a toothier finish. Mm-hmm. So
I think I want to get a mirror edge because it's what a lot of people, because an awful lot of people don't actually use their jackknives that hard. Yeah. I mean, they're split people. And I think they're the sort of ones you're going to want a knife sharpened with maybe a bigger bevel, because. So what I mean is, how low can you take?
Oh yeah, the degrees per side. You can
Yeah.
get down to 17, 18 degrees per side, no problem. You're going to have a taller bevel. It'll be a little more delicate.
Your standard is about 20, Ben?
No,
22.
No.
They're not done on a guided system at the factory, so they're going to vary a little bit. But I tell people to set their machine at like 20 or 22, and then try to match factory if they want some advice on that. Yeah. You can definitely reprofile to 17, 18 and get a better performing edge, just a little more delicate. But anybody who is interested in that conversation, so much of that's geared towards your actual intended use. Mm-hmm. So you would want to talk to a guy like Jim and let him advise you, because he's the one sharpening a lot of knives. I think for a safe edge, just match the factory edge here. But if you do want to increase the performance, go down to 18.
No, I'm thinking of actually being really game and trying that 17 at least. Get it down at 16, 17, because I think S90V could take that. And for an EDC knife, which is just, these are just pocket knives. It's only for slicing. It's not for prying and turning your blade. This is a knife that you want to slice more,
Oh, no, I think it would take it. It's just whether or not the size of the bevel would affect the look of the knife, because it's not a huge blade.
But it'll be interesting to see what it looks like. I'm quite willing, because I can resharpen it if I don't like it. Yeah, but it would just be nice to get this fella to put it on.
You can't put a grind back onto it. I mean, you can't.
No, but you can just regrind it to what you want.
But then you have to grind. And never mind. This one could go all day, Ben. This one could go all day.
Is Ben gone, or?
He's looking still.
Ben, do you need a holiday?
Oh, we lost it. Oh, there he is.
Frozen back.
He's back. He's caught up with himself. I think it was that Terminator thing. It was he was just catching up on the time travel side of things.
Ben just gave you he was telling you the next release for next month, and you just
missed it. You guys didn't hear that? I'm gonna go.
Did we miss it again, Tony? Did we miss it again?
Well, look here, apart from anything else, have you two bought any knives? I know, Ben, you probably wouldn't. Donnie, do you buy? Have you bought any other knives recently?
Did you buy
No. I'm in trouble. I work in knives. I work swimming in knives. I cannot buy anymore. I'll get in big trouble for
But that sort of leaves me in that sort of mental state that's not normal then. Because we have lots of knives, but we keep buying them.
But we're of an age where we reckon we've earned that kind of right.
Exactly, I agree with you.
Basically, we can do whatever the hell we like, and everybody else be down. Now, don't ever tell my wife that. But between you, me, and everybody on the podcast, that's my personal philosophy, and I believe it is my learned colleagues' personal philosophy too. Although Sally's in the next room, so let's keep that one on.
No. Sally's in the kitchen where she should be.
Oh no, dear God, no! You're on your own, son. You're on your own.
Just tell it how it is.
Oh man, that ain't how it is, bro.
Oh right. Yeah. I've only had one divorce so far. That's not bad.
Oh well, so long as you learn from it, there's always something like that. Okie dokie. Guys, we're kind of coming up on our last 5 minutes. So usually at this point in time, I get you to tell us all about the release. So who's going to tell us this time? What are the release times and dates, and where can we buy and whatever else?
Take it away, Donnie.
Oh man, I knew that was going to
Does this every time
on the big screen, get them ready. Oh.
Didn't prepare, Donnie, did you?
It is tomorrow. We are dropping tomorrow 11 Mountain Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time here in the States, and I have no idea when it's dropping there at Framar in the UK. So I'll be honest.
For Framar in the UK.
Oh, excellent.
And hopefully Frank will have the website.
He literally just got it. It was a bit late. Frank was a bit late getting it out, so his website hasn't been updated. I haven't checked it now, but he might have the pictures up now on his website.
Yeah, we had a little delay getting them into the UK. Yeah. They got turned back around and came back to me for no good reason at all. Our paperwork is always measured twice,
Uh-huh.
But they arrived at Frank's door, I think, couple days ago, so he got them.
Yeah, I'll go and check that they're up on his site, and then I'll do a wee quick video tomorrow to let people know as long as they're there. I'll maybe even drop a wee quick one in tonight just to let them know if you want to go and have a look at the knives up close and personal.
Excellent. Beautiful. A parting shot from Gus, just as we're coming to the end of this, because Gus is our favorite. Let's just.
What is the Worldwide Wolf, Gus? I don't even know what that is. Is that like a knife design? Is that like an event where we all get together somewhere?
I think all of the above, Ben. All of the above. An event where all of the Jack Wolf owners get together, or fans just.
Yeah, we talked last time when Ben wasn't here with Donnie, didn't we? We were talking about.
Donnie was going to invite us all around to Ben's place, I think it was.
Do it.
It's hotel.
Right.
All on the Jack Wolf time.
Yeah, he said he had a card. He'd fix it. We're talking we're talking about a club knife. Has anybody put any comments in the? Because we asked people if they were interested in a club knife, or to ask you if a club knife is something you would do with, say, a wolf on the bolster or something like that.
It's certainly possible. It'd be a lot of work, a lot of squeeze for a little bit of juice to do something like that. I'm not saying no.
Ben, are you saying that we're not worth a little bit of juice?
No. Whatever juice I can get out of you.
We're not, Ben.
The stuff is, we'd have to figure out the whole process. We'd have to figure out how
we've done that as well, Ben. We can give you the list. We've done all that. we sorted that all out.
So did you just have to turn up with the knives?
That's it. I just gotta mail them to someone when they're ready. That's all I gotta do.
It's a pre-ordered knife that people pay for up front, and they get it when it's made.
Well, we got to figure out how to collect the money. We got to figure out what to do, and then we're gonna have to ship them all out and everything. I'm not saying we can't do it. It's just we'd probably have to sell 50 of them, and it would have to be a version of a knife we have coming down the pipeline, and then I'd have to disclose to you guys what I'm making.
Oh,
that's not cool.
No, I think Hardcore Hobbyist offered to make them for us.
Oh yeah, he's got an American manufacturing facility.
We're good there. We're set.
Yeah, I'll take the 50, please.
This can be his first project.
Yeah.
Here we go. I just told the guys in the chat not to get personal about this, and then you're misbehaving. I'm trying to round it. It's like trying to herd cats.
Yeah, you're banned for a month, Ben.
That's too funny.
Guys, an absolute pleasure as always. And Ben, I just have to say, Donnie, I don't know if you've noticed, you probably have, because Donnie, first of all, you look absolutely exhausted, so he must be working you to within an inch of your life. I haven't seen him this happy in about 3 months. So obviously, one, Stephen's right, the break has done him good, but two, also the anticipation and the need to get another knife out has done him a world of good. And three, this little beauty is just a joy.
And it's out this Friday.
Yeah.
This Friday
is enough to bring a smile to anybody's face. So
that's
absolutely.
Tomorrow.
I know. It's tomorrow, baby.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Get there early, because we never, this is the thing we talked about tonight. We never know which patterns are going to go first. So that the reason why we say get in there early is so that you get the pattern you want. Because if you're a minute late sometimes, that's enough not to get that pattern. So always get in early. If you're going to buy one, don't wait around. Buy it then and there.
Yeah. And, in the UK, Frank, he doesn't get a million of them. It's a relatively limited supply. So I would simply say, if you snooze, you lose in the UK for sure.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
And the choice of then, you're going to have to try America or somewhere else and then pay customs and taxes on top of that. So come on, just get in there and buy what you want.
So, boys, thank you very, very much for joining us again tonight. It has been, as always, a pleasure, a total pleasure. Donnie, get your ass back to work right now.
Yep. On my way.
We want all of those Barbie cyborgs sorted and out, especially to Ryan and Margot. So get them figured out. They
personally spit shine.
That is just awesome.
I mean, that would actually be a good idea to send them to an
it would be a fantastic marketing thing. I really do think so. But Guys, thank you again for joining us.
Yeah.
One last question before we go from Jesse is, do you know who's on the show next week?
I have yes, I have a good inclination who's on the show next
week.
week.
You don't, you big liar.
I
You've forgotten your own name by this stage.
No, I've got a custom maker coming on next week.
No, you don't.
Well,
because
not yet,
Jesse
because
and
I haven't
Randy
spoken.
are coming on.
Are they?
Yeah.
Jesse and Randy are coming on next week. So my partner has just told me. I will
They've
now.
been booked in for the last 3 weeks, which is why you'd forgotten.
Yeah, you didn't write it down.
Oh, right.
Right. Take care, everybody.
Read.
Thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
along.
guys. Good to see you all.
And thanks to everybody in the chat. And once again, Gus, keep yourself well.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it, kid. And we'll see you next week, Jesse and Randy.
And we'll see you next month, Ben or Donnie, whoever's free. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.